All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. If you're not done so already, give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, here, market's kind of a boring-ish day here. Basically flat to positive for the most part here across the board. There was a little bit of news out of Japan. JCB kind of spooked the markets overnight. And you can see here, let's flip over to the futures, ES. We touched 3,800, essentially 3,803, close enough overnight, and then we got a little bit of a bid here, and that makes today kind of tricky. So yesterday I said, if we got some type of a gap down today, maybe Wednesday, I would be pretty comfortable calling a bottom in the market here, at least in the short term. And you can see here if we flip over to the hourly, we bottomed right around 3-4 in the morning. So it was like right when the pre-market opens, I think 4 in the morning for U.S. East Coast. You can see that green candle here. We had a nice dump and then we recovered there. I never like it when you put in those candles pre-market, unless it's off of the CPI or like the Fed or something like that, just because the liquidity is low and it makes it's like, is it really a bottom or is it just computers, and algos and pajama traders pushing it up? Are the institutions actually involved? I'm going to say this is probably not a bottom. Now, this is a good looking candle here for what it's worth here on the ES, and it's right into that 3,800 level. And they continue to defend, if we look at the spiders, they continue to defend 380. But if we just look on the intraday here, this does not look like bottom type price action. And that's why I really wanted that gap down. I was upset this morning. I told my traders, I was like, look, this is not really the open I wanted to see, just because it's tougher to trade now. Take a look at the hourly here. It just looks like an hourly bear flag, kind of just down into the 20 moving average there and kind of just stalling out right here. 4 hour, not really an inspiring bounce here. I mean, yes, they're defending 380, but it's not like, you want to see a gap down and maybe like a flush to 10 a.m. And then you want to see like this type of green candle, like 3-4 times in a row, and then like a higher low, and then really immediately buy the dippers come in. That's what you want to see for a bottom. And right now, it just looks kind of like a bear flag, honestly. I mean, look at the the price action, down move, and we're just sideways here. So it looks more like backing and filling to me. I do have a minor cycle date this week, tomorrow. So we'll see what we get here. I mean, maybe we have bottomed. I just don't like this. I just don't love the price action. If we gapped down and closed green today, I would feel a lot more comfortable saying, yeah, we probably put in the bottom. We're headed up to 390 now. Bare minimum to fill this gap here at 389.63. This is just such weak, it's not a V shape. It's not really how markets bottom. I would prefer, we got down to 376 in the spiders overnight. That's equal to 3,800 on the ES. I would just like to see a gap down, just to flush out any bulls that tried to buy the dip today. It just does not look like a market that's bottoming here. Also seeing quite a bit of weakness still from the triple Qs. They just turned positive here. It looks like, yeah, just turned positive in the last like 10 minutes or so, but this is still flattish to negative. I'd feel better if the Qs were leading. They're currently not. Semis are still under a little bit of pressure. Semis are still negative. Again, it's not a horror show. It's not like, we're not getting pummeled here, but it just doesn't look like, where's the conviction, So that's just kind of my thought here. Ultimately, I do think we bottom probably by tomorrow. And maybe we have already, like I said. This is not like, we're not looking for a major rip your face off rally here. We're just looking for probably relief, at least a back test resistance before the end of the year. But again, this is just not the greatest price action. I don't think it's happening today. Plus Tesla under a lot of pressure here. And I still think this is pretty attractive down here. I actually like Tesla right now. I picked up a little bit of a starter in it, just full disclosure. But it's getting kind of hysterical, like especially on Twitter. Everybody's freaking out. They're trying, Elon selling. I'm hearing lots of stuff here. I think it's probably just tax law selling here. And another thing, we're coming into a major gap on Tesla, by the way, at 136, and we're basically there now. So you've got to figure Elon doesn't just sell, he goes through Morgan Stanley or Goldman. I mean, he's got billions of dollars, so he lets the professionals handle it. they're not going to sell his shares into this gap. They're going to probably let it bounce first and then sell the rest of his shares up here. Plus, I don't even think the window for insider trading is open right now because we're close to the end of the year. So I'm not even sure if that's the case. But either way, we're into a nice falling wedge here. And this is a pretty attractive level there on Tesla, if you ask me. Anyways, and that just kind of goes into the kind of theory here, down 7.5% today, but kind of goes into the theory here that we are close to a bottom, irregardless of what's happening. Apple as well. Very close to double bottom there. That is getting defended right now, a little oversold. So again, I think if we can just get one more little flush out tomorrow, that would feel a lot more comfortable calling an actual bottom. But either way, we're pretty close here. Anyway, you slice or dice it. Anyways, we talked about the Qs. Let's look at the Russell. So Russell having a little bit of a better day here, but this is also much more oversold. It is up 77 basis points. We'll watch it at 175. If you get through that 50 moving average, all these pivots down here, 179, and then of course that 180.50 area, which was that previous pivot there. Those are going to be your resistance levels. The Dow also hanging in there. That is up 46 basis points. We'll see if it can backtest the pink trend line. And then, you know, if you get up a little bit past that 335, there's a pivot there. That's your breakdown area. So those are your levels there on the diamond IGV. We mentioned the semis, though. I mean, I was getting a bid here, but again, your level's the same here, right around that 215. So it's pretty much the same chart across the board, right? Just backtesting that breakdown area on the upside if we do get there. IGV is positive today, so, you know, very light volume. I wouldn't really make too much out of it, but it's hanging in there. We'll see what it does. I don't really have a good level for this one. This one's been chopping quite a while. This previous pivot goes back to just a pre-pandemic high, so that's where that is if you're wondering. But I would stay away from IGV currently. It doesn't really look like a good pattern, but it's ultimately on the weaker side here. Dow Transport, so this is a big negative here. So we're now below this gap, 13,481, and we are below that green bar low. So I do expect them by the end of the week to probably defend this. If they don't, there's big trouble ahead for this market. And this goes right back to 12.8 and then that 200 moving average. So be careful here. Transports are kind of flashing some warning signs. This really needs to get defended here by the end of the week. Again, with that kind of cycle data I have tomorrow, it's a minor cycle, but it's there. And with the possibility of a gap down, and given how oversold the market is, I think it's possible they probably bid it back up and save it by the end of the week, but still lots of technical damage. Again, you broke this structure. This is a nice structure here, and that broke down. You're below all four major moving averages there on the daily, so be careful with the transports. They're talking to you, and I told you guys, you know, really over the last month, I was like, look, transports lower highs, market is making higher highs. Don't fade the, you know, don't bet against that. So when the transports talk to us, we got to listen here. But DJT down pretty sharply on the day, down 1.23%. Interest rates via the 10-year, nice pop today. So finally, that buy signal I told you guys about, the 30-year working out here. So in the money nicely on TMV, which I have there. So that's up 5.5% on the day. So nice little winner there for us. And yeah, 30-year up, you know, just over 3%. There is a gap to fill at 38.2. And on TLT, you can see right here, there's also a gap going back to November 30th, 102.73. So that is a good area there, if you ask me. If it gets through that, then you have this pivot low and then the 50 moving average. But nice little backing off there of the TLT and the 30-year. You can see the red bar there, kind of a failed breakout right now. It could still put in a higher low, though. You know, it could still put in a higher low and then come attack this trend line again. But for right now, you know, the buy signal on the yield worked out, and that's why I just trust the charts. I just block out the noise, and that usually works out really well. Anyways, over to Homebuilders. So XHB in a little bit of a danger here. It's not terrible, but you don't want to see it take out this pivot. And of course, this green bar low would be a major breakdown, but it is testing that 50 moving average. It's holding up for now. So we'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but be careful with it. ITB is holding up a little bit better, but back below that 20 moving average there. So just a little bit of a ding, a little bit of a, you know, a crack in the armor, if you will. But I think this is probably, I mean, could it make a higher high? It's possible if the market cooperates. And I do, like I said, I do think we have a good relief bounce coming, but we'll see. I think this is getting pretty top heavy here, as you guys know. And VNQ here losing the 50 moving average yesterday. And, you know, it's trying to get defended here for now, but this is weak. You have a failed inside bar there on the daily. So be careful with this real estate sector right now. XLF. kind of a dead cat bounce day, so down move, a little bit of a choppiness. If this starts to go sideways to up, that can be shorted. I just closed out SKF, 2 times short financials. So that was another winner for us there. And you guys know I do not like the financial sector right now. Take a look at KRE. This is another dead cat bounce basically into double bottom. Should be bouncing more than this, but it's not right now. This also can be shorted on a retrace or a bear pattern. Same thing with KBE. So I do not like financials here. BRKB still has that head and shoulders there as well. So just be aware of that. Although it's getting a nice bid today, and that is helping the market just a little bit here. Broker dealers also finally getting a green day dead cat bounce kind of move there. But again, this does want to go back to 425. Energy. Crude, again, can't do really anything with it right now. It is kind of hanging on this 20 moving average. I'm not in love with it. I would prefer it in the mid to upper 60s room temperature. So appears of this kind of double bottom, maybe a little bit lower would be a good area for it. I'm just not in love with this. This does not look like a bottom to me. If you had huge volume and a big tail candle, then I would say otherwise, but I don't like this right now. I do think it is susceptible to rolling over. If it gets above the 20 moving average, it makes a higher high, then it can get up to that 50. But for right now, I would avoid it. XLE, XOP, and OIH all hanging in there okay. Again, nothing crazy here. OH, nice bid there, up 3 3.75 there. So that's hanging in there okay right now. This still has lower to go though. And then nat gas, nice dump here. Finally a lower low. So we'll watch it. I mean, I do like this trend line. I told you guys yesterday, and I've been using this trend line really all year to trade this. So we'll see if it can get there tomorrow. If it does, I probably would take a stab at Natty, but we'll see. Nice little dump here, failed bull pattern. Might even get to double bottom. So we'll see what it does. A lot of velocity behind that, down 8.53% on the day. Nice dump there on Natty. Dollar index starting to roll over just a little bit. Again, I still think this has another leg down. Not too much though. Gold here obviously getting a bit up on the week dollar, up 1.7. This has a little bit higher to go here, but I don't think it's that much. So, and same thing for silver. Really nice move. Can't take anything away from it, but don't chase it, please. Don't chase it up here. It's going to come back in pretty sharply before you know it. Then platinum, it got to the trend line, a nice little bit off of that. I didn't touch it. If any of you guys got it, nice job. It's up 2.5% on the day. But yeah, that was a nice level. And then you possibly have that little fake breakdown that we talked about there on the wedge and the upsloping trend line there. So nice little recovery there and nice bull pattern there on platinum. Again, that's headed for 1200. Copper up 61 basis points. Nothing crazy here. Let's not make too much out of that either. And then Bitcoin getting a nice little bit up 2%. So again, this still remains weak though, and the technical structure is not good. Anyways, market's set to close here in a couple minutes. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a dip. Let's not make too much out of it. Let's see what we get tomorrow. If we can get a little bit of a bid or a little bit of a dump into the gap down, dump on the open, and maybe test 3,800 again on the ES. And recover, then I think we've probably put in a bottom, at least for the near term, for a move up to 3,900. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. You can find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you all tomorrow.